Morning, guys. We are going to have another busy day today. We are down to about 400 acres of corn left to plant and about 300 acres of soybeans. So we're still on this 300 acres that we were managing on the last video. We have about half of it planted and most of it worked. So we are going to get in this Landau disc with the basket and go work the rest of it. So shouldn't take too long, and then we got a lot of other things to do. Got to run to the co-op, grab some phosphate for the corn starter, and eventually going to end up in the bean planter. So it'll be a busy day. So this area here is where you guys saw in the last video where he was disking with just a standard disc and basket. And then right over there on the other side of that tower is where we were running Salford VT tool. And then, so we're gonna go over here by that tower because it rolls up onto some clay that's just a little bit too slabby for the disc. So we're gonna work it with this Landau tool. The reason we didn't work that with the Landau tool is it's much too heavy and it will sink. And so I think when we're all said and done, we will have used probably 5 different types of tillage on this 300 acres to get it in shape for corn planting. We're using this Landau tool where the corn residue from last year was just a touch too heavy for the Salford to be able to cut through it and do a nice job, but we don't need to be quite as aggressive as a disc. So this is kind of our in-between tool where we don't need to be as aggressive, but we need a little bit more than what the Salford can do. So that's why we're doing this chunk here, just right over there to where he quit disking last night. And then thanks to the auto steer, we are able to skip passes like this because this tool really was never made to have a rolling basket behind it, but we tried it and found that it does a better job with the basket behind it. It leaves a better seed bed. So we made a hitch for it and pull the basket behind it now. So we can't turn as tight, so it's nice to be able to skip passes. Well, it's been a couple hours, but I got in the bean planter. I have about 35 acres done since I started. Decided to hold off on going to the co-op to get the corn starter. They have enough to keep going right now. And field cultivator was far enough ahead. He's working over there. Far enough ahead that I could jump in and get going on this field. So this is the last field of soybeans on this 1,000-acre chunk, and then we have a couple more to go. So we are winding down quick on the soybean acres. This is some of the nicest, blackest dirt we have, but sometimes it causes some issues. So the dirt is so fine that the dust can actually build up in the seed tube sensors, and the monitor will tell you that you're not planting. So I've been getting that message a lot on just one row, so we're gonna check it out and make sure that we're actually putting seed in the ground on that row. And it is this row in here, so we are going to have to climb in there and tear that apart. So these aren't too bad to do. You really don't need any tools at all to take it off. It's just one latch, and the whole meter just kind of pivots out of the way. You don't really have to take anything apart. And then I call it a toilet brush. But your seed tube sensor is right there, and I'm going to show you here. You won't be able to see it, but there's an eye down inside that tube that actually counts the seeds as they drop. So if dust accumulates on that eye, it won't see the seed and it tells you that you're not planting. Then we just take this, line it back up, set it back in place, and put the latch back on, and we should be good to go. Now we'll have to restart our vacuum motors and recharge all the seed meters because it's really, really loud back there if you leave the vacuums run. So vacuums are started. Hit this 3 times. And we have vacuum pressure. And we must have done it right because the warning went away. So like I said, just some dust can accumulate on that eye, and then the computer thinks that there's no seed falling past it. And just as we cleaned number 14, number 6 now says it's not planting. Hopefully that does not keep consistently happening. I have noticed that it only seems to happen going one direction, and I've had that before where the sunshine is just right and creates a shadow on certain rows and will kind of give you a false reading. So that could be it too. Gonna walk up here and grab the seed buggy real quick. I haven't been filling the planter. I've just been taking a little bit at a time. So they've just parked the buggy right here, but I wanted to keep the planter as light as possible for going across this dirt. So just gonna throw a little bit of seed in it and get rolling again. And I came in the wrong way. The arm is on the opposite side, so we'll have to go and turn around. We had to put a reminder on there for when somebody loses the remote. They're very expensive. I can't remember if I showed this before, but this is the remote for the seed tender. This operates everything. Without it, it can hardly operate at all. So you can start and stop the motor, increase the throttle, open and close the front and back compartment, because there are 2 compartments on this tender, and then raise and lower the conveyor and swing the conveyor front to back. So that's kind of how that works. I've only been putting in 1,000 pounds each side, so that comes out to about 40 units or about 40 acres worth of seed, just to, like I said, stay light. And you can just about see the top of that green thing right there is the sensor. There's a sensor in each tank, and when the beans get below that, it sends it turns a light on in the cab, and it also sends an alert that says, hey, you're out of seed. This does not have the auto dispense feature on it, so you just have to watch the scale display here and do old school math. And again, can't say enough about the Yetter poly twister closing wheels. In a situation like this, you probably wouldn't need them so much, but they have really worked well and were definitely worth the investment for us. And now we go plant another 40 or 45 acres. So we'll see you guys in a little while. So we got row number 14 that's still acting up on us. So I think it might be the electric row clutch. So I'm going to just swap it with row number 1 here and see if that if it follows that row. So they're actually not too bad to change. You just pull the little electric plug out, undo that lock, pull the actual drive shaft out, and then there's a little tab on the back of this handle. Just comes out like that. Just when you think you're a decent planter operator, you hit the tile riser, knock it over. I'm hoping that it just knocked it over and didn't break it. It looks like it did. Well, I think the row clutch was tired of being on number 14 because now it's on number 1 and it hasn't had an issue since. So this planter is a 2019, and in 2019 we had 6 row clutches fail in the first 100 acres. So I'm really hoping that that's not coming back. After we got through those 6, it's been good ever since. So fingers crossed. Well, after 3 years of the planter running flawlessly, that row clutch I think is dead. So we go to row number 3 and do the test, and it says pass, but when you put it in the ground it will not plant and it will not spin. So there's seed in the meter, everything else is good, but that row clutch is just not turning on. So luckily we are far enough along where we are not using the other bean planter. I'm just gonna finish up the little bit of beans we have left with this one. So we're gonna run to the shop and rob parts off of that one. Well, we went back to the shop and stole a row clutch. So I'll pull this off of here, and yeah, you saw the process before. There's a little tab that holds this wheel on, and that pops off, and then this is the drive shaft that drives it, and then there's one electrical plug. So they come off pretty easy. Well, we got that field done, so that leaves us with about 150 acres of soybeans left to plant and about 200 acres of corn left to plant. So we are getting down there towards the end. So tomorrow we'll have to get some row clutch issues figured out, because currently we're missing one here that I had to use to finish that field. But yeah, other than that, things are going real good. So we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Schultz Family Farms Instagram. Not a whole lot on there yet, but there will be more coming. See ya. Oh, I almost forgot to show you what showed up today. This was actually not supposed to show up here. This was supposed to ship to our electrician's shop, but this is the main electrical breaker panel for the new grain system. So fairly large, so, and lots of empty seed boxes, so that's a good thing. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.